Hello and welcome back to the Reapers. We're in our Mi-8 Magnificent 8 and we're going to look at a cold start. So I've got a fresh, nice cold chopper here. Charles, where do we start?
Right, so first of all I recommend you jump to the engineer's position because you do have a very nice overview from.
So I pressed the 3 key, yep.
And once you're there, you look at your left leg, you found the rotor brake. I think we actually may have missed that.
Oh, we did miss that. So it's that big lever on the left, yeah?
Yes.
So I put it down, roger.
Right, so you look to the right to your DC power panel.
Yep, I'm all over it.
You'll find your battery 1 and 2, you flip both of those up.
Roger.
Now we'll move on to our magic panel of circuit breakers overhead.
Roger.
We'll just flip all of those. Unless you do not intend to use your weapon systems, then you can ignore the left column.
Sweet. This is good news for Cap. Okay, all on.
Now, what you can do also, if you want to save a little bit of power, you can check the outside temperature. So currently for us that is about 20 degrees, so we're not going to need our anti-icing system.
Roger.
If you look at the bottom right of that panel, you will find 5 switches above that, above where it says anti-icing system, and you can just turn those off again.
Done.
Next we'll move on to the fire detector test panel right in front and above of the engineer.
Roger.
And we'll flip the fire extinguisher switch so the light goes off.
Done.
And we get the test. Next to the bottom right of that, we'll turn on the service fuel pump on the tank pump panel.
Service on.
Above that are 2 red covers for the fuel shutoff valves. You want to open both of those.
Both. Open.
You move on to the left where it says APU starting. You flip the switch up to start and then press the button for a second.
Flip switch on, started and starting.
You just watch the gauge to the top right above that and wait until it settles at about 600 degrees.
At 600 degrees.
Now, by the way, in case you haven't done it yet, it might be worth closing your door by pressing left Control C, otherwise it might get too loud.
Oh, that's nice. That's much nicer. Okay, Charles, continue.
Right, straight down from the APU starting panel, you will find your engine starting panel. So we want to flip the bottom left switch to left, the start switch next to it up to start, and then press the start button. Now we'll see on our main dash that the engine RPMs are starting to rise, so we look above our pilot's head and we open the left engine stop lever.
Both of them forward?
Just the left one.
Sorry, just the left one, roger. Oh, the rotor's spinning, Star.
Yep. Check your RPMs, they should be rising above 20%, otherwise you were too slow.
I see it, it's 40% RPM on engine 1.
That's good. Then you just wait until it stabilizes. Should stabilize at just over 70.
Yep, stabilized.
Right, so we move back to the engine start panel. We flip the switch to the right engine and we press the start button. And as soon as we see our engine RPM rise, we open up the right engine stop lever.
It's starting to rise. I'm opening up my right brake. And she's going. She's going.
Again, just give her a minute to stabilize.
Okay, both engines at 72%, main rotor at 49%.
Alright, next we look above our co-pilot's head, below the DC power panel. There's one panel with a long row of switches.
Hey, firm.
If we come from the left, the first break between the switches, we flip up both the switch to the left and the right of that. That's our engine dust protection.
Yep.
And then we go back to our fuel pump panel, so to the right of the engine start panel, and we turn on our transfer pumps left and right.
Done.
Next you'll want to look at one of your collective levers,
yep.
And just hold page up until it is fully throttled up.
Stand by. Done.
We move back to the AC power panel, that is to the right and a little bit behind of the co-pilot.
The AC panel, roger.
Yes, to the bottom left of that you will find 2 generator switches. You want to flip those both up.
Roger.
And on the DC power panel to the top left of that, you will find 3 switches that are above orange lights. Those are your rectifier. You want to turn those on, then the lights should be off.
A-firm.
Now move back to the APU starting panel and just turn the APU off by pushing the APU off button.
APU off.
Now we go back to the AC power panel to the back, behind the copilot, and we turn our inverters, that's where it says 115 back and 36 back, to auto, so both those switches down.
Both down.
So that's our engines and electrical systems all ready to go, which means we just need to set up a couple of instruments and the like. If you look on the left dashboard, on the pilot dashboard, you'll find the radar altimeter switch. You want to turn that.
Radar altimeter uncaged.
On the left triangle panel, above the pilot's head, you will want to turn on the pitch limiter system, the SPU52. There's the top right switch.
SPU52 on.
Exactly, as well as the left attitude indicator, the gyro switch, and the RS65 audio warning switch. If you want, some people find it annoying, but I do like to use it during flight. I can turn the fan on as well.
Oh, I get it. I get it. Yeah. Fan is on. Roger.
The nice thing about having the fans on is you'll easily see if your rotor RPM drops so low that your generators come offline. The fans will also stop spinning, so that's a nice little indicator.
Roger. Do we want the left attitude indicator switch on?
Yes, you want the attitude indicator, the gyro, and the audio warning switch on and that row.
Roger, noted.
Next, move on to the mirrored panel on the right side, the triangle panel.
Roger.
In the bottom row, you want the doppler nav system on, your chatter comm radio, your comm system, as well as your right attitude indicator. If you feel like it, the fan and dome light.
Roger.
Right, that pretty much just leaves our autopilot. If you look down in front of the engineer, you'll find a big black panel that says autopilot.
Yep.
In the center front of that, there is one green button. You want to press that. That turns the stabilization systems on.
Roger.
And that's the startup basically done. Now if you want, we could go over a couple other things like heating systems and lights, but that's the necessities done.
Yep, why don't we get heating systems? Yeah, let's just get them done, Stoff.
So, did you turn off the heating systems when I told you to?
I've done everything you've asked, basically, but...
Okay, so in the overhead panel where there's all these millions of circuit breakers,
yep.
In the bottom right are the 5 switches that are off.
There are 5 switches that are off that are under the anti-icing system.
Right. For the heating systems, you'll want to turn those on again. All of them should be up. So if you just the bottom right lever that turns all the switches on, if you just click that, all of them should be on anyway.
This is the anti-icing?
Yes.
Okay, anti-icing and all now back on.
If you look above the pilot's head, you will find a panel that says anti-icing system. So that's where you have the anti-icing systems for your left-right engine, for your glass, and your ice detector heater funny enough.
What do I want to do with this?
Well, if it's cold, you want to turn them up.
Okay.
So you'll definitely want those 4 switches to the right.
Okay, I've left it on auto, turned them all on. Okay, just in case. Done.
Also, there are a couple more heater switches if you look below the DC power panels, so where the copilot is to the right.
Roger.
In the long row of switches, it actually says heating. You have the left and right pitot, clock, and battery heat.
Done.
So that is your heating systems. In that same panel, you have a bunch of lights, cargo bay and external. So the first 2 are cargo bay, then you have your nav lights, formation light, blade tip lights, as well as your anti-collision beacon.
Roger.
You can turn all of those on if you want.
Yep.
You additionally have dome lights in the bottom right and bottom left corner of the triangle panel.
Roger.
And also on the right triangle panel, in the top center, you have another light which lights up your doppler nav system and a couple other instruments. Behind the co-pilot, you will find a rheostat where you can turn that up or down if it's too.
Roger.
and if you turn on the red dome lights, you will find several rheostats as well. At the top right of the co-pilot's head, then at the left back above the pilot's head, and behind on the right behind of the engineer, you will also find rheostats for the red dome lights inside the cockpit.
Done.
I think that'll be pretty much all.
Right, so that's one fully started Mi-8, a magnificent 8 plus lights plus heating. I hope that helps, and we'll see you later.